Betrayal comes in many forms. A child can betray a parent. A parent can betray a child or even children. Friends can betray friends. Co-workers can betray each other. But betrayal always leaves the same question. How could you? And from there we get into reasons that can be similar to motives. And in fact, sometimes they actually are motives. We're going to New Jersey in 2016 to look at a tragic tale of betrayal. And the motive will be the same old story that we've seen so many times. This is the terrible story of the murder of Sarah Stern, and this is Murder of Crows. Sarah Stern was born on the 24th of March 1997 in Neptune City, New Jersey. She lived with her parents, Michael and Carla Stern. She was a perfectly normal child, but when she was just 16, her world was turned upside down. Now, she was very close to her mother, Carla, and Carla Stern was born in the same city that Sarah had been raised in, Neptune City, New Jersey. And Carla ran a bookstore and was a member of the American Booksellers Association for more than 25 years. But Carla Stern died in 2013 at Hahnemann University Hospital in Philadelphia after a battle with cancer. And Sarah was, unsurprisingly, devastated. Thankfully, Sarah had a support network to help her through this difficult time. Two of her closest friends were Liam McAtasney and Preston Taylor. And Sarah was especially close to Liam, and the two were often inseparable. There had never been anything romantic between them, but they really saw themselves as siblings. Similarly, there had never been anything romantic between Sarah and Preston, but Preston did end up taking her to junior prom, where they attended along with Liam as friends. Now, after her mother's death, Sarah lived with her dad as they both tried to muddle through their grief. As with any young lady of her age going through the maelstrom of hormones, her moods were turbulent and changeable, but there were no major issues beyond the painful grieving process, that suggested anything amiss with Sarah as she grew into a young adult. She seems to be coming through her various challenges as she turned 19 in 2016. But the year wouldn't end so positively. In early December of 2016, 19-year-old Sarah Stern was reported missing. Her car was found abandoned on a bridge, with the key still in the ignition. Her childhood friend Liam McTasney, who was now roommates with longtime friend Preston Taylor, told authorities that Sarah had been suicidal in the past, which made investigators believe that she could have taken her own life.
Liam, you Liam? You got a second? Can I come in and talk to you real quick?
Yeah, no problem, officer.
Is Sarah here by chance?
No.
When was the last time you talked to her?
I was with her today,
What time?
before I went to work.
So it was earlier today?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had any kind of contact at all with her? Turn some light on if you don't mind.
I mean, we went to get food today.
And you went to work at what time?
4:30.
Okay, so you haven't talked to her since 4:30? You have a cell phone you can reach out to her on?
I actually haven't been able to find my cell phone.
Any idea where
I've
it's
been
at?
calling it all day.
Alright, so you haven't been able to talk to you, you don't know where your cell phone is?
No.
Alright, keep looking for your cell phone, man, because we're trying to find Sarah. What was her mindset last time you talked to her?
I just know she's been trying to get away. She's been telling me she's going to Canada.
Trying to get away, okay. Canada, she's been real depressed lately?
Her dad is crazy.
Okay, and then she's dealing with the loss of her mother. Her dad's in Florida right now, right?
Her dad, yeah. He's coming back today, I guess. I don't know what time it is.
If you can maybe reach out to some friends, maybe hit our message on social
I
media.
definitely will.
Start reaching out to somebody, see if anybody's talked to her, or
Yeah.
when they talked to her, what her mindset was and all that, all
I'm
right?
planning on getting a phone as soon as I wake
Okay.
up.
And
Yeah, we spoke.
It was early in the morning on December the 3rd, 2016, that an Uber driver was going down the Route 35 bridge over the Shark River in Belmar, New Jersey. And he noticed a 1994 Oldsmobile stopped on the bridge with no driver apparently in sight. Because of the late hour and the decidedly strange place to leave a car unattended, the Uber driver called authorities to report what he'd seen.
911, where's the emergency?
Yeah, not emergency. Actually on the Belmar Bridge, right after heading south in the middle of the bridge, there's a car that's abandoned. It's off to the side of the road, but...
The Belmar Bridge being the 35 bridge?
Yeah, the 35 bridge would be going from north going south.
Into Belmar.
Into Belmar, yeah.
Hey, did you pass the midpoint? Because up to the midpoint is Neptune, and after the midpoint is Belmar.
So, yeah, Neptune, actually. Technically, it was after... It looked like it was more on the Neptune side.
So what kind of car is it?
Kind of looks like an old, beat-up, light tan-colored, like, sedan.
And what was your name, sir?
So if it's okay, I'd just rather be anonymous.
And this is your cell number?
Yeah, I'm driving Uber and Lyft tonight, so I just figured I'd give a call in, because it's kind of hard to see, I think, if you're coming the other way.
And was there anybody inside the vehicle?
I looked, no.
Okay.
Unless they were sleeping. I couldn't see them by their head being up. Nobody
Okay.
was like her in it.
All right.
And when police arrived at the scene, they found that the keys were still in the ignition and that the car was unlocked. And this initially led investigators to believe that they were dealing with a possible suicide, with the car's driver having jumped off the bridge. When they ran the plate number, it turned out that the Oldsmobile belonged to 96-year-old Lillian Stern. They quickly discovered that Lillian was at home and was feeling very, very well. But it was her granddaughter Sarah that had been using the car. Sarah was last seen, before this seeming disappearance, with her childhood best friend Liam McCatasney the previous day on December the 2nd. The two spent the afternoon together, ran some errands, grabbed a bite to eat at Taco Bell for lunch before going their separate ways. The authorities immediately organised a massive search in the Shark River inlet, but it came up empty. Since Liam was the last person that she was known to be with before she went missing, investigators spoke with him first, as makes perfect sense. He told investigators that Sarah had suicidal tendencies and that she would complain about her relationship with her father. Liam also mentioned that Sarah really wanted to go to Canada and hinted that she might have run away. And CCTV showed her in the bank the day before she went missing, and she took a lot of money out, so this might back that up. And both Preston and Liam joined the search for Sarah in the following weeks. Now, a month after Sarah went missing, police got a major break in the case when a former classmate of Liam, Preston and Sarah offered an important clue. A man named Anthony Curry went to the Belmar precinct and shared a conversation that he had with Liam on Thanksgiving, days before Sarah's disappearance. Anthony told the police that Liam had confided in him that Sarah found some old money in a house her family owned. He then revealed to Curry a plot to kill her and to take the money. He planned to choke Sarah, dispose of the body on the Route 35 bridge, and leave her car there, thus making it look like a suicide. And Liam also added to this that Preston would drive the escape car. Since Anthony had gone to Brooklyn to work in horror filmmaking, he said that he didn't think much of that conversation at first, since the two of them had often discussed horror movie plots and the like in the past. But when Sarah actually disappeared, that conversation came back to haunt him, and he started getting worried. The details of the case seemed eerily familiar, and quite similar to a story that Liam had told him. Anthony agreed to help investigators by arranging a meeting with Liam. And the plan was to get his friend to talk about what happened to Sarah while secretly recording him. Although Liam already knew that investigators were on to him, he agreed to meet up with his childhood friend. Upon entering Anthony's car, however, Liam asked him if he could feel him up for a wire. God, I normally have to pay for that kind of thing. Anthony agreed, knowing that he wasn't wearing a wire. The recording devices had been very covertly hidden within the car, and there was no device on him. And when Liam saw that his friend was clean of any kind of wire, he started to talk. Over the next 30 minutes, Liam described in graphic detail how he murdered Sarah, and even timed everything with his phone so that he could still show up to work, be seen there, and thus secure an alibi. He expected to get at least $100,000 from the money that she had found. But it turned out that it was just $10,000, and it was virtually all unusable because the bills were old and brittle and basically useless. Towards the end of the conversation, Liam says to his friend, "I don't feel any different," and also says, "I don't think about it." He then shares more gruesome details about the crime, including that the murder took him 6 months to plan. Throughout the entire conversation, Anthony did his best to stay calm and play along, so he didn't raise any suspicions. Authorities arrested both Liam and Preston the following day, on February the 1st, 2017. And here we can see the chillingly unemotional confession from the cockwomble extraordinaire.
Good, money.
What's happening, bro?
How you doing?
How you doing?
You want a cigarette?
Nah, I'm good. I quit them shits.
Oh, yeah.
I was smoking a lot of cigarettes while I was tripping.
Really?
Yeah. I tripped for like 2 months straight.
What were you doing?
Sitting around.
What you went up to?
Hiding from the cops.
What happened?
Dude, you can't blame me for doing this, right? I gotta feel you up real quick, right?
You're good.
No disrespect.
I'll show you.
No disrespect, okay?
Nothing.
Yeah, I got the FBI on my ass, dude.
What are they questioning?
Oh yeah, a lot.
About what?
About killing Sarah. They've been, they were up my ass. First it was just normal police. They were on my ass, and I had to go in and get interrogated by them multiple times, but then it kept moving up levels, and now it's a federal case. They've got the FBI.
So you've been laying low, I guess.
Oh yeah, and that's not even the worst part. The worst part of it is, I thought I was walking out 50 grand, 100 grand in my pocket. She had one safe, and she took money out, and she only had 10 grand. And this money, I don't know if it was burnt or something. It's fucking old money, terrible quality. I don't even know if I can put any of it in the fucking bank.
Right, because it'll probably look sketchy, right?
Looks sketchy, and it'll look like it's Sarah's money, especially if it's a federal investigation.
Right.
If they're looking for the guy who has the fucking old money.
Right, because it's probably like the old dollar bills and shit. It's not like the new shit, because the $100 bills are changed now.
Exactly. No, it's from the 80s, dude. It's old. And then...
What, she found it in her house or something?
Huh?
She found it in her house?
Yeah. Spent a lot of money. And I didn't even get a quarter of it.
So you only got like, what, seven grand or something?
Somewhere around there.
And you spent it all?
No, I haven't even tried to do anything with it because it's in such bad shape.
Yeah, you can't even use it.
Like, I need to lay low and then maybe, like, tape some shit up and see if I can put it in the bank.
So what, do you have it hidden or something?
Yeah.
Where'd you hide it?
Sandy Hook. First it was at my house for a long time, but then I stopped trusting Preston.
Yeah, what's the deal with Preston? Was he...
No, he's cool. He was...
Did he end up, like, helping you with it or not?
Oh, yeah. Dude, tonight we just tried to rob a drug dealer together. We just drove down to, fucking...
is that what you were in South Jersey for?
Yeah, we were down there. We were gonna steal this fucking guy's safe. And we get to the house, and he moved. He's not at the same fucking house.
That same guy we went to that one time? Or is it a different fucking guy? I don't remember.
You drove down there with us
Remember
one time to
when
get drugs?
Yeah, me and Preston, yeah. Me, you, and Preston went down.
Yeah. That's who we were trying to rob. We're gonna go back down tomorrow night and try again.
You know where he lives at?
Yeah, we found it tonight. There were just people there. There's a higher chance that there's not gonna be people there tomorrow night.
You gotta be fucking smart with that, bro.
Yeah, this is...
Don't do any fucking stupid shit. You're already saying the cops are on you, so you gotta
This is Preston's thing this time. Sarah's whole deal was my thing. But I had planned Sarah's situation for me to be interrogated by cops. Like, that was whole part of my plan, to make me look not guilty.
What did you end up throwing off? Like,
you didn't hear about it? It was all over the news.
Right, but I didn't know if you went through it.
Yeah. And the worst part is, we threw her off the bridge, and the body never showed up.
It's probably frozen.
It's probably all the way out in the ocean.
And it's fucking frozen, so she's not coming up anytime soon. Her body's probably at the bottom of the fucking ocean, or she got eaten by a shark or some fucking shit.
Yeah.
Bro, this is like a fucking movie, bro.
Yeah. And, dude. Alright, so, I'm hanging out with her. She has... We went to the bank. She took some money out. Not all of her money. We're counting it out, and then she goes to walk out the front door. I choke her out, drag her. My biggest problem was the dog, and her dog laid there and watched as I killed her. Didn't do anything. Her fucking dog.
What kind of dog?
Yeah, what kind of dog is that? It's like some...
Was it a big dog?
It looks like a beagle, but it's like the size of a Great Dane.
Jeez. Nobody was there? Grandmother was
No,
there?
nobody was there. Even her dad wasn't there. He was in Florida.
Yeah, you said that he was
Yeah.
there.
So, I have to leave. I fucking dropped my phone at Sarah's house. My phone was at Sarah's house. Like...
Wait, you left your phone?
Yeah, I lost it. I couldn't find it. I had to go to work. I had timed everything out so that...
Fuck? Why did you take your phone? You should have left it in your fucking pocket.
Dude.
What were you doing?
Strangling someone? I couldn't find it, dude. It ended up being out in the driveway.
Oh, it must have dropped out of your pocket.
It must have dropped when I was crawling to get in the car. But I choke her out, drag her into the back, put her in a bathroom, and then I had to go straight to work. So Preston came over, took the body, put it in the bushes, and then I was at work. I had a full night of work, except I left work a couple times, which looks sketchy. I look for my phone now, which is a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, you gotta look for your phone. Yeah, you can't.
Which is kind of me losing my phone was kind of a good thing, because the cops are like, oh, he's hanging out with her, he lost his phone, he's going back and forth between his house looking for it. And then I get off work that night, go straight over. Preston and I go over to her house, take her safe, bring that over to my house. Preston and I had these walkie-talkies to communicate with. We just used them again. So I was driving, and I had her buckled in the passenger
Right,
seat.
so she looks like she's just sleeping.
She's just sitting up.
Right.
And my plan was, for me, I underestimated my own strength and how much a dead body would weigh. Because
it's lint weight.
Yeah. I got up on top of the bridge to throw her off. My plan was I was going to throw her off, run over, jump over the divider, and get into Preston's car. And I go up, open the door, unhook her, pull her out, start dragging her to throw her over, and then cars start coming up. I see headlights coming. I try to get her over, and I can't. Fuck my leg up. The weight from her body made me fall, and my leg went up. So now I'm limping, my leg's fucked up, and there's 3 cars coming up. So I grab her body. Dude, I had superhuman strength, and I threw it in the car, and I fucking picked it up, and her feet were up here, and her head was down there, and 3 cars go by, and I'm fucking losing my shit, because that easily could have been a cop.
Yeah.
And then,
the police station is right there.
Yeah. And then Preston comes over the bridge, goes around, makes a U-turn, comes up behind me. The 2 of us throw the body over, and then we...
McAtasney calmly told Curry that he and Preston Taylor spent months planning the killing after Sarah had unexpectedly found a large sum of money. Sarah's mother had died a few years earlier after a long battle with cancer, and Sarah had stumbled upon thousands of dollars that she had hidden in one of the family's properties. She was planning to use the money to move to Toronto, where she wanted to practice her art and set out a new path for herself. But of course, as we know now, Sarah Stern would never get that chance. On the day of the murder, Liam McAtasney convinced Sarah to take out some of the money that she had stored in a safe deposit box, and then he killed her and stole the money, as you do. The plan was for McAtasney to drive Sarah's car to the bridge, where he'd throw her body over before Preston Taylor picked him up, and the pair would make a clean getaway. But Liam McAtasney underestimated the weight of a dead body, with him saying, "I got up on top of the bridge to throw her off, and I go up, open the door, unhook her and pull her out, start dragging her to throw her over, and then cars start coming up. I seen like headlights coming. I try to get her over, and I can't. Thankfully for Liam, Taylor arrived shortly afterwards and helped his friend toss the body over the bridge railing before the pair took off. But as McAtasney admitted to Curry, the robbery didn't go off like he planned, with Liam saying, "The worst part of it is, I thought I was walking out 50 grand, 100 grand in my pocket, and I didn't. I didn't even get a quarter of it," adding that he ended up with around $7,000. Oh, bless your poor heart, Liam. Police knew that they needed more than the recorded confession to put a solid prosecution case forward, since they still did not have Sarah Stern's body. But they did get the lucky break that they needed. While Liam McAtasney refused to talk or answer any of their questions, Preston confessed to his involvement and told the police everything. Preston pleaded guilty to throwing Sarah's body from the Route 35 bridge. He confessed to robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, tampering with physical evidence, and 2 counts of hindering apprehension. In a devastating blow to his dear close friend Liam McAtasney, he agreed to testify against the Cockwomble at his trial. When that trial rolled around, Liam was charged with murder, felony murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence, and disturbing human remains. Blimey, he got the lot, didn't he do well? He, of course, entered a plea of not guilty. And even though Sarah's body still had not been found, the case was strong. The jury heard about the motive, greed, and the actual murder and the aftermath in Liam's own words, via the recorded confession. And they also heard from Preston, who testified and told the court everything that had happened.
They started off as plans to either burglarize her house or to rob her personally. And over time, the conversations progressed to killing her in order to obtain that money. Specifically decided the plan was strangle her. Any other way, any type of weapon would have been too messy, would have left a whole lot of evidence. And then as far as what to do with her after she was dead, we talked about a couple of plans, burying her down at a campsite that Liam's dad owns, just leaving her at the house, and then ultimately we decided that the best way to go about it would be to make it look like a suicide.
Okay. And were you involved in those conversations?
Yes.
Okay. So you were aware of all that?
Yes.
You were involved in all that?
Yes. At some point while I'm at work, I get a message on Snapchat from Liam saying that he was with Sarah, that they were at the bank, and this is the chance. He asked me when I'd be getting home from work. Said roughly 4 or 5 o'clock. Go back to my dad's house, unload the truck, break everything down, go back to the house at 11 Holly Street. A minute or two later, Liam comes to the door, and he just frantic. He said that he had killed Sarah, that he lost his phone, and ultimately told me he needed me to go over to Sarah's house to look for his phone and to move Sarah's body. He said that he strangled her.
Did he go into significant detail at that point in time?
He said it took a while, but she did finally die, and that he moved her down into the back bathroom.
Did he tell you like where he killed her?
Up in the front of the house.
The front of the house?
Yeah,
Front of
where they were leaving to go out the front door, and as she was about to walk out, he grabs her from behind and strangles her.
He told you.
He said that on the 2nd of December, Liam returned to the house. They were roommates at the time. And he told Preston that he had strangled Sarah. And they went back to the house that night, drove her body in the car to the bridge, threw her into the river, and left her car on the bridge to make it look like she committed suicide. And their plan almost worked. Liam's defense was that the recording that Anthony took was simply Liam telling Anthony about a plot for a film. And he also argued that Preston was a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. But unfortunately for Monsieur Cockwomble, the jury sided with Anthony and Preston. Liam McChesney was found guilty on all 7 counts and was sentenced to life without parole.
Liam McChesney, on or about December 2nd, 2016, in or about the borough of Neptune City, committed the crime of murder by purposely or knowingly causing the death of Sarah Stern or purposely or knowingly causing serious bodily injury to Sarah Stern, which resulted in her death. Guilty.
So you got a 1A.
Did the defendant, Liam McChesney, commit the homicidal act resulting in the death of Sarah Stern by his own conduct, meaning did the defendant actively and directly participate in the homicidal act resulting in her death? Yes.
Okay, so we've got a 1B.
Was the murder committed while the defendant, Liam McChesney, was engaged in the commission of or attempt to commit the crime of robbery? Yes.
Okay, so we've got a question 2.
How do you find as to count 2 of the indictment as to whether the defendant, Liam McChesney, on or about December 2nd, 2016, in or about the borough of Neptune City, committed the crime of robbery while in the course of committing a theft, inflicting bodily injury and or using force upon Sarah Stern, and or committing and or threatening immediately to commit any crime in the first or second degree, and that in course of committing said crime, Liam McChesney attempted to kill Sarah Stern and or purposely inflicted or attempted to inflict serious bodily injury to Sarah Stern. Guilty.
So you've got a question 3. Liam McChesney. Mr. McChesney is now 21 years old. He lived in Neptune City. Everyone essentially in almost all of the family members that testified came from this small community of Neptune City. They all knew each other. That's what makes this really a heinous event, that these were 2 people, meaning Sarah and Liam, that knew each other since, I believe, grammar school. So on count 1, murder in the first degree, it's life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Count 2 is robbery in the first degree. This sentence will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. It's 20 years New Jersey State Prison. And count 5, desecrating human remains is second degrees. That's 10 years consecutive to the other counts, to count 1 especially.
You just saw the completion of State versus Liam McChesney in there, and as As Judge English indicated, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the murder of Sarah Stern, among several other counts that he was convicted of. Really what this boils down to is that this just ends the last chapter in the book that is the notorious killer that Liam McEntazny is. He'll go down in history as one of Monmouth County's most heinous killers here. It's tragic that nothing can bring Sarah back from the crimes that Liam McEntazny and Preston Taylor had committed, but I hope that this gives her some kind of restful sleep, some kind of peace, to know that her killer, the person who brutally murdered her and snuffed her life out on this earth, is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
It's been a long 2.5 years for this journey. I think finally we got justice for Sarah. I love my daughter, and everybody else did too. She was a good kid. She was a talented artist. She was a rising star. Her life ended way too soon. I miss her. I cry for her every night. I'm just glad that finally justice is served.
And to rub salt in, he was sentenced to an additional 10 years for desecration of human remains. And those sentences will run consecutively. Happy days. Sarah had been cruelly betrayed by two of the people that she trusted the most in the world. For 6 months, Liam had planned an attack on Sarah. And all this time, she was spending time with him, confiding in him, making plans with him, and saw him as the friend and practically brother that she had known since first grade. Yet he was figuring out a plan to steal her money and kill her. Liam believed that Sarah had around $100,000. He knew that after her mother died, she got some money, but the money Sarah had was actually nowhere near that. It was less than $10,000. While Preston did not actively murder Sarah, as the judge pointed out in court, he did everything but put his hands around her neck. He knew about the plan and was a willing participant. At any point he could have pulled the plug, at least on his own part in it. Unlike Liam McEntazny, Preston Taylor did express remorse for his crime, and said at his sentencing hearing, "There's so many things about this scenario I wish I could take back and make right. I should have known better and done something to stop this. And I wish more than anything that I had. I'm sorry." Preston was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Sarah's body has still not been found, and her father has to live on without his wife and now without his only child. Michael said, "I was devastated and numb from shock the day that I learned from detectives that Sarah was murdered. I've had horrific dreams and nightmares. The horrid act of what happened to her body haunts me every day. I will never be able to hug Sarah again. In early 2023, an appellate court upheld the conviction and life sentence of Liam McAtasney. A 3-judge panel with the Appellate Division of Superior Court rejected Liam McAtasney's arguments for a new trial. Among them that the jury should have been precluded from watching his chilling videotaped confession. Judges Heidi Willis-Currier, Jessica R. Mayer and Avis Bishop Thompson let stand McAtasney's 2019 convictions for murder, felony murder, robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, desecration of human remains, tampering with evidence, and hindering apprehension. Speaking at the end of the appeal process, Michael Stern, Sarah's father, said, "Of course, I'm kind of elated that it's over after waiting 3 years. It's been hanging over me. It's always been there in the back of my mind for the past 3 years. He should have gotten the death penalty, as far as I'm concerned." Understandable words there from Michael Stern. But Michael went on to say, "He took my daughter's life for no reason. His rationale and reasons were evil." And that was the story of a betrayal of many years of friendship for the age-old reason of greed. Both men are exactly where they belong, and while Taylor seemed to have been pulled into a scheme that he later regretted, Liam McAtasney's lack of feeling and remorse means that he was and is almost certainly psychopathic or sociopathic. And so we are left to remember a 19-year-old girl who was just recovering from losing her mother and whose life was just beginning in earnest when she was cruelly and callously murdered by people that she called friends. She was a loving daughter and a good friend, and her death leaves a gaping void in the lives of all those who knew her. Well, except maybe 2 of them. This video is of course dedicated to Sarah, and I send love and my deepest condolences to her friends and her family. Thank you for watching another episode of Murder of Crows. I'm Steve. This is the cat who can't stay still. I'm sure Dr. Seuss has done a story of something like that. This is Samson. And we will see you when we see you.
say